You're listening to Country Squire Radio.
Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Bo.
And I'm John David.
JD.
Hey, Bo. Good evening, man.
Man, good evening to you. How you doing tonight?
You know, I'm doing well. I spent all day in the yard. It's a Memorial Day weekend today.
Yeah. Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day, man. Yeah, we, of course, had a lot of festivities and events here in and around Jackson, and been interesting to see some of the stuff happening in our nation's capital and things like that. But anyway, really important weekend just for us as Americans to try to kind of remember and celebrate the sacrifices that the brave men and women in our armed services have given. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we're very thankful for that.
Absolutely. And we know we have some active members of our armed forces who are listening in and tuning in. We appreciate you guys and gals for what you do.
Yeah.
It just really means a lot to us that you're able to take us along too. And you know, we if we're adding a little bit of entertainment value, it's only a small fraction to what you do for us. But
boy, no kidding.
We're happy to do it.
That's really great. Yeah, thank you so much.
Man, I got to give a big thank you just kind of to our listeners in general real quick. So, you know, right now we are recording the show that almost didn't happen.
That's right.
In an alternate universe. We actually, so earlier today I was working. I was like, all right, you know, got this day off. I'm going to try to get a little bit of extra work done. Boot up the computer. Actually, I load up like my 5-6 different Twitter accounts that I have going at a single time, and the computer froze up on me. And I'm like, oh, no big. I'm just gonna, reboot it, and we're good to go.
No big deal. Happens occasionally.
Man, no.
So what happened?
I don't even fully know. It froze up, and I tried to reboot it. I keep on getting this gray screen of death. I've gone through about 6 different attempts to kind of reboot it in safe mode.
Yeah.
I've actually reinstalled the OS and everything else.
Right.
And I'm actually at the point where I'm going to have to take it to the Genius Bar. And
okay, now this is you have a beautiful large screen iMac, right?
Yeah.
And that's what this is a large gigantic Macintosh. I mean, I didn't think Apple's did that a lot.
You know, it's 5 years old.
Yeah.
And so I mean that's part of it. You know, a 5-year computer, especially one that has been put through the ringer as much as that one.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm no Apple loyalist.
Do you have too much like World of Warcraft stuff floating around on there to kind of like, just put some sludge in the gears? Is that kind of the...
No, I haven't even played Warcraft in a while, But now, see, here's the deal, though. Thanks to you guys, thanks to our listeners who, every single year around kind of the end of the year, we do a fundraiser to kind of help us,
That's
keep
exactly
the lights
right.
on here.
Yep.
And part of that also goes to preparing for this exact
For this kind
setup.
of thing. That's exactly right.
Yeah, so the nice thing is, I actually was able to get this backup laptop that I've actually been able to use from time to time to capture audio outside of the studio.
Yeah, that's right.
And to be remote, which has been great. But the best part is tonight, we're actually still able to bring you the show because we have this backup
Not
setup.
skipping a beat, baby.
Exactly. Ow! So thank you so much. We don't necessarily like talking about it unless it's like that period of time, but I just want to let you guys know, especially those of you who are supporting us financially through the Patreon account. Man, it means so much. And this episode, very specifically,
it's to you, baby.
It's because of you guys. So thank y'all so much.
That really is great.
I should say too that since I'm doing this holistically on the backup setup,
right,
I have no idea what the final product's going to sound like. So grant me a little bit of grace too.
I hope it's recording. Is it recording?
Oh, it's definitely recording.
Okay, good.
But it's just it's different. It's different software than I'm used to, so it's just going to be it might be a little bit different.
No, it'll be fine.
It might be better. Who knows?
Hey, I feel like we should mention our buddy Brian Levine, who came on board last week. We had such a great episode and so many folks that hadn't really engaged with our podcast before that kind of had the opportunity to. And Brian actually called me at the shop later this week and was just so excited, kind of talking about how much of a blast that he had and everything.
Oh, that's great.
So if you haven't checked out that second Disney episode that we did, be sure to check it out. Yeah, we were so thankful for Brian to come on board.
Dichotomy of Disney with Brian Levine, I think. Is
with
the
Brian
name.
Levine, yeah. So Brian Levine, of course, national sales manager for Sutliff, Mac Baren, and just a rock star in the tobacco world, and we were really tickled to have him on board.
Oh, it was a blast, man! I can't wait. I'm glad that he's coming to town before the New Orleans Pipe Show.
Dude,
so we get
no
to hang
kidding,
out.
man. I know
that's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be great.
Speaking of coming by and hanging out, you had some pilgrims make their pipe pilgrimage this week.
Yeah, this was so much fun, man. We had Joe and Javier all the way from Birmingham, Alabama, and this is how this transpired. Okay, it's Memorial Day weekend. They got out of college students. They get out of class a little early, I think, on Friday, and they're like, Thursday night they're sitting in their dorm room. I kind of envision them
Right.
maybe drinking a cold beer or something. I don't know, but hey, what are we gonna do tomorrow? Like, we have this extra day that we don't have any plans for. Like, what are we gonna do? And Joe is like, Javier, there's this podcast I listen to that's in Jackson. It's only 3 hours away. And they get up and come to my shop. And they were there at like
awesome.
11 o'clock in the morning. Like, those guys got up and booked it, and just had a Mississippi Friday. Like, that was what it was. It was
Dude,
great.
that's
Dude, I
awesome.
was so thrilled, man. It was great. We, of course, took some photos and got to know those guys a little bit. Just really, really good men, and really kind hearts and everything, and love their pipes and all that. So it was really good to get to know them. And, of course, it was such a treat for us. So.
I'm so jealous
Yeah.
of you, man.
It was fun,
you
dude.
get to
It was
meet
fun.
These guys. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It was great. Yeah, it was
that's
really
so
good.
cool.
We're so honored every time someone makes the little pipe pilgrimage to our shop, and it's funny because you get there and it's like, man, this is just a sleepy southern pipe shop, but it's become a real connected part of the pipe community from all over the world, and we're very honored to be a part of that.
Also, gotta let you know this too. So this last past weekend was my birthday.
Yeah.
And I mentioned too that we were going out on the Okatoma.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so I did my homework, and I actually, my wife had the idea of recording, because what we did is while we were canoeing, we would stop at different points, get out, I'd smoke my pipe, and then she would actually on the phone interview me.
Was she actually able to kind of get your immediate thoughts of the tobacco?
Exactly.
Oh, dude, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So I've got
like
that.
Riverside.
I don't even know, like, maybe we'll put that out, maybe we won't, I'm not sure. But anyway, I do have that audio, which was fun. But here's the thing. After our first stop, we get back in the boat, we go around the bend. And I should actually preface this by saying,
Right.
in Okatoma, or at the Okatoma, which we got off on, is it Seminary, Mississippi?
Yeah, Seminary.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
Dry County
This is a river that
runs through.
runs through a little town called Seminary, and a lot of folks go canoe down it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So it's a
Dry County.
Dry County, which we did not know. And so apparently it is.
As a good Presbyterian, you just assume no counties are dry.
I mean,
It's
why-
like, why would they even have such a thing?
It makes no sense. It seems it's got a river. River is wet. It's a wet county. I
That's
don't know.
right.
But thing is, we didn't realize that. So we go and we find out, like right before we get on the river, that it is illegal not only to consume alcohol but also to be in possession of alcohol.
Whoops.
And it's like, well, that's not good. Like, what are we gonna do with it? There's no place for us to put it. So, we try to just kind of keep it under the radar.
Well, yeah.
But here's the thing: they said the game wardens are going to be out there, and I thought, oh man,
Right.
I got my fishing pole and I got my pipe. I know they're going to pull me over.
Yeah.
And sure enough,
They got you.
And you know why?
Why?
It's because of the pipe.
Really?
Yeah. Well, in all fairness,
They were kind of trolling for other things than tobacco? Is that the
somebody
idea?
out there was smoking something that was not pipe tobacco.
Right.
It was not Squire product, let's
Right,
say.
right.
And I mean, like, you could smell it in the air, but apparently they were just watching us while we were on the beach, like hiding out in the woods. It's just really creepy. And so we go around the bend, they pull us over, and so we have to, like, pull the canoe over to the side. This
That's
has never
really
happened
weird.
before. I
Yeah.
know.
Did they have lights?
They
Or
did
like flashing red and blue lights, or like
on their forehead.
Yeah, no. How does the game warden pull someone over? That's
Well,
interesting.
they're like running through the woods as you're canoeing by and yelling at you. And at first I thought they were like just some freak,
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. And so like finally I lift up my shades and then he says, I'm the game warden. I'm like, all right, well, now I see you. I see your badge. I wish you had started with that.
Right.
And I wouldn't have been like looking like I was trying to get away.
So what questions did he have about your pipe?
So he asked, well, first of all, he said he saw the fishing pole, so he wanted to know what my social was so they could run my fishing license.
Yeah. And was that up to date?
Completely up to date. He
Good.
asked me if it was like big game, small game. I said, look, I went to Academy Sport, told him I wanted to fish, and whatever they gave me is what I gave me. It's just the truth. But then he asked, he was like, I noticed we were watching you over there and you were smoking. And I was like, yeah, I've got it. That's my pipe. And he's like, all right, well, do you mind if I take a look at what you've been smoking? And so here I have these 3 individual bags
Right.
of pipe tobacco.
Oh, and they don't even have names on
They
them.
don't
It's
have
like
names
it's
on them?
scribbled on there.
Yeah, I'm actually really glad because I was thinking about writing little code names on them before
Right.
going. So glad I did. But anyway, so
Did it have the Country Squire logo on it,
had the
though?
Country
with
Squire
the
logo.
tobacco tax paid?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
So I
That's
was
very important.
I was good there, but so he gets them and like he pulls them out and he's like, "Oh, okay. So you got your little custom setup here?" And I was like, "Kinda." I was like, I went through the whole story. I was like, "Yeah, I've been trying to come up with a personal blend. Are you familiar with the podcast? I actually do a podcast on pipe tobacco, trying to sell them on the show and everything."
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, "Oh no, I quit a while back." But he started smelling. I was like, "Oh, that smells good."
It's like, hop in, dude, get a beer. I mean, we won't tell anyone. It's all right.
Yeah. But anyway, it was just a really funny interaction that
That's great.
I got caught. They thought I was riding dirty, but
Right.
no,
On the Okatoma.
I wasn't riding dirty. I was just white and nerdy.
That's so wow. Fact. All the time. 24/7.
Well, man, speaking of pipe tobacco.
Yeah.
Let's do a tobacco talk
We're
tonight.
doing a tobacco talk tonight, and this episode we're going to focus on a couple of things. Bo and I had discussed maybe doing a Squire Select where we kind of pair some choice beverages with some tobaccos, but we just decided to go straight in for a tobacco talk so we could kind of get a little deeper into some of that. So I brought a couple of things tonight I wanted to bring, and one of these I'm pretty sure we've had before on the show, but it's been quite a long time, and I wanted to think of some things that we could feature just for hotter weather smokes. We're getting into the summer type season. Things are pretty warm, and of course in the deep south like this, it's almost suffocating.
Gosh.
How hot it is,
especially right now with all this rain coming in. We're about to have the humidity on top.
You
of
could
it.
cut the air with a knife. It's really thick. Yeah, so it keeps our skin very, very soft. But other than that, it's kind of miserable.
There's that.
But there are certain tobaccos I kind of pivot towards during the summertime. Now, if you're a longtime listener, you know that I'm a pretty much a Virginia Perique smoker. That's
right.
kind of my wheelhouse where I live, right in that vein. I smoke some Latakias, but that's almost always during the wintertime or late fall. So those are tobaccos that kind of remind me of those campfirey, sitting under a tree, smoking my pipe, with a jacket on, that kind of thing. But in the hot months, I just kind of shy away from those things. So, and I do pull out more aromatics during the summertime as well. So, anyway, I brought a couple things I thought we might talk about here. Bo, I'm not sure you've had this before. This is GL Pease Haddo's Delight.
Okay, so admittedly, when I was looking out of the corner of my eye, and I'm dyslexic, I thought it said Hodor's Delight.
Hodor
from Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Hodor. Yeah.
Hodor.
But no,
this
is Hador's.
It's Haddo's Delight,
okay.
and it's blended by GL Pease, Greg Pease, who of course is just a fantastic blender, kind of on the pipe scene, and has some of the best tobaccos out right now, in my opinion. But this is a great Virginia Perique blend. Now, you smell this tobacco and you're like, oh, wow, it kind of smells even a little fruity and a little sugary. And, some folks say there is just a little wee bit of a topping on there, but it's not much at all. And it's something that just burns really clean and is full-bodied. Real nice Virginia Perique. So give that a whiff. Oh,
yeah. No, that does come off as, like, really fruity.
Yeah. But it's interesting, you smoke it, and it's just very full-bodied. You get maybe some little sweetness to it, but it's one of those that the Perique really stands out. So
deceptive.
Yeah, it's a like I said, it smells great. It doesn't, when you're smoking it, it's not one of those that like, oh, this is so strong, but it is full. And the amount of Perique in it just definitely makes your heart thump a little bit. It's good stuff. What do you think?
Well, here's the deal. I'm trying to not say it smells like raisins.
Yeah.
Like now I'm like...
it smells like raisins.
Now I'm so... After we had that conversation, I'm like extremely self-conscious.
Have we discussed that on the air?
Yeah, we did.
Have we discussed that on the air?
You passed me. I can't remember what it was, but you passed... Or it was one of the blends that I've been testing out. Actually, it was the one that I gave you back because I wasn't too keen on it. But
the licorice.
Yes, that's the thing. You asked me what it smelled like.
Right.
I was about to say raisins, and you were like, "Don't say raisins."
Don't say raisins.
And then I got it, it was licorice. I'm just trying to place because it is it has this extreme sweetness smell to it.
Yeah,
and it's fruit, but it's like dried fruit.
Well, and
maybe like dried peaches or something.
The first time I ever opened that can, this is the first time I ever opened a Haddo's Delight can from GLP. I immediately got banana bread.
I was about to say apricots. Hang on. See, that doesn't smell like banana bread.
But for some reason, now this tin, actually, I've aged this tin quite a while.
Is that right?
Just cracked it open. So this tin is probably going to be a little more mellow. But I just got some crazy smells, and it kind of led me towards believing it was like banana bread. But then you smoke it, and it's just really, really full-bodied, really nice. Something about summertime, I like those kind of heavier Perique blends that just kind of give you a little kick. I don't know, it tastes like tobacco. It's not a very hot burning smoke and all that kind of thing. So I kind of pivot towards this direction. But
fair enough.
Anyway, that's Haddo's Delight.
So
GL Pease.
And GL Pease, they've been around for a bit?
Well, this is Greg Pease. He is just a really well-known pipe blender right now, and he is based out of, I think, North Carolina. But the Laudisi company, who also distributes like Cornell and Deal,
right,
Savinelli pipes, Rossi pipes, and several others, they distribute Greg's stuff, and it's just really, really popular right now.
You know, I always like looking at the tin and just kind of the way that it's presented. And, and of course, with this particular tin, you got the JL piece at the top, original mixtures, and then it's this kind of assortment of pipes.
Yeah,
that's just kind of around in kind of a semicircle.
My guess, and I'm sure if I'd researched this, I could have found out pretty easily. But my guess is that those are his actual pipes on the cover of that.
I would imagine so. It looks like it very much looks like something that you would just take a picture of.
Yeah.
If you had, and if that's the case, he's got some pretty nice pipes here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's a well-known pipe collector and tries to keep up with a lot of that stuff. So I think you can actually see a big selection of some of his pipes on online.
Does he mark most of his tins with his pipes or
no? There's a big spectrum of them. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, like I said, I always kind of like looking at just the way that it is presented.
Yeah. A lot of them, his tins do have kind of landmarks, or you've got Westminster and a lot of the different street names in London that they've got set up, and a lot of those have almost even map grids on them and whatnot. So
figs, that's what I was trying to think of.
Figs. There you go. There you go. Is it set on the back of the tin?
It says on the back of the tin.
Yeah.
I was just about to say apricots or something like that. But what is that thing that's dried and it's kind of big? Fig.
Dude, I love some figs, man. I love some figs.
I love some fig Newtons.
Fair enough.
I'll go to town on some fig Newtons.
Yeah,
well, good great stuff. All right.
Yeah, Haddo's Delight by GL Pease. Great tobacco. Next up, from the Squire, we've got a tobacco that is very near and dear to me during the hot months, and that is Blue Ribbon. Blue Ribbon is one of these tobaccos that, and I know you smoke Blue Ribbon, Bo, but this is a tobacco, aromatic tobacco. It's not one of those tobaccos that's going to gunk up your pipe, but it's one of those that, you definitely can taste it as you smoke it. So Blue Ribbon, I smoke it a lot during the summertime. It's a Burley Cavendish mixture. It's got some Virginias in it too, but the heavy amount of burley in this is just so satisfying, not only because it gives it some strength, but, as burley is just, prone to do, it's got those, as you exhale, it's got these big billowing clouds of smoke, which are really nice. So the Cavendish in it's got kind of a blackberry, blueberry casing on it. And so it's one of those, as soon as you open the jar, you're just kind of
you don't even have to. I
don't have to.
Over
yeah,
there.
You can smell it from here.
Yeah.
So. It's really tasty stuff though. It's one of those that, of course, when you're smoking your pipe, you're creating lots of heat. We always refer to it as like our little campfire.
Right.
But with the Blue Ribbon, it's one of those that the fruit flavor is so crisp in it, and not syrupy. So it kind of gives you this. Almost I've referred to it often as kind of a fruity tea flavor. So it's like I said, it's not syrupy, it's very crisp, and so you have this very almost refreshing kind of flavor to it. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, it is a great summertime smoke. I cannot tell you. Of course, if you go outside any time during the summer here in Mississippi, you're immediately going to start, just sweating your tail off. And I can't tell you how many times I've sat on my porch just sweating, just underneath a big old fan, but smoking Blue Ribbon, and it makes it all okay.
And I know, we've talked about Blue Ribbon several times for a couple of different reasons. One is I've mentioned before, but my church warden pipe, I exclusively smoke Blue Ribbon out of that.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know why, it's just, it's not even like Blue Ribbon is something that would kind of make you even think of the Shire, but there's just something like about kind of sitting back in your garden. And right now I got those grapes growing back there, and and something about that Blue Ribbon.
It's almost reminding you of your garden's bounty or something.
Yeah, a little bit, man.
Is that too lame? Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
It's good though. We sell quite a bit of it. We've got a few folks that actually buy it by 8 ounces or a pound at a time. But it's not one of those that personally I'd like to smoke every day.
No.
But it is something that, like, during those hot months and also just when I'm looking for a real nice treat, it's really good. Like I said, the thing I like most about it is it's very flavorful, but it's not wet and syrupy, so it doesn't smoke very heavy. It's just a really nice summertime smoke.
I would put it out this too, and I think we've probably made mention of it before, but if you are someone or if you know someone who says, well, you know what, all pipe tobacco tastes the same to me, get yourself some Blue Ribbon.
Right.
Sit down with them, smoke Blue Ribbon, and be like, tell me that tastes like every single pipe tobacco you've ever tried. You know what I mean? Like, for me, and maybe it's just my palate, but Blue Ribbon is just one of those that's just way out to its own corner.
Right.
And I mean, I love it. I think it's great. But I mean, it is very much not a pipe tobacco-y tasting tobacco.
It's fruit. You immediately pick up the fruit.
Big time.
Yeah.
It's berry, man.
It's berry. Yeah, berry. Yeah. It's really nice. It's a good tobacco for aromatic smokers or maybe new pipe smokers that are kind of wanting to check out some different flavors that aren't kind of run-of-the-mill, like, cherry, vanilla, caramel, peach. You've got a bunch of those that are kind of along the same lines that you see, pretty regularly. But this one's kind of different. We like it a lot.
That smells good. I haven't had some in a while. It's kind of making me want to.
No, I'm gonna go home and smoke it. I'm gonna go smoke it like in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Pipe question of the week.
All right, man. So this week we've got a great pipe question of the weekend. It comes into us from Tony NW318. That's Tony on Twitter.
Yeah.
He says,
"Ooh, this is a fun one.
What are a couple of good semi-sweet, aromatic, non-fruit flavored tobaccos?"
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll give you some immediate answers from things we've got at our shop. Actually, the Country Squire. I would definitely check out. Semi-sweet is coming on strong as far as the non-aromatic smokers that kind of want to have that little sweet kind of in their rotation. It's also such a great tobacco to have on hand if you're an everyday smoker. So we've got so many people that smoke all the time, every day, and it's that daily kind of thing. If it's real sweet, sometimes you don't always feel like eating a cherry pie or something, but just a little bit of sweet kind of every day is kind of nice. So anyway, all that to say, I'd point you in our shop to a tobacco we have called Black and Tan, which is a really nice semi-sweet smoke, very airy, lots of burley, and so it's got a nice body to it, but just very, very mild and semi-sweet. So we point a lot of people in that direction. Also, we've got a couple others, Second Breakfast and Cherokee. Cherokee, of course, is our best seller. We've sold it for almost 45 years now, and it's one of those tobaccos that it's got a little vanilla, but just a real nice semi-sweet kind of tobacco-y flavor to it. Definitely an aromatic, but one of those that is just so semi-sweet that it's just got a nice everyday smoke consistency to it. So I'd probably point you to one of those. There are others too. I've always referred folks to Peterson's Nutty Cut, which I very much like. And then if you want something that's got just a little bit of aromatic kind of topping on it, but not something that is going to bowl you over with that. This is kind of an interesting one, but Virginia Woods, which is a tobacco by McClelland, it's one of those tobaccos that it's just got a little bit of something sweet put on top of it, but it really features the Virginias. It's really nice, full-bodied smoke. I think we've talked about it on the show
I was trying to
before.
think. I think either a Squire Select, if not a Tobacco Talk, for sure.
Yeah. But it's one of those, like, you definitely get the Virginias, but there's little nuggets of sweetness in there that make it kind of nice. So,
good stuff.
Yeah, anyway, so I definitely recommend those. Try try Black and Tan from our shop. It's one of those that it'll definitely bless you.
Nice, good stuff, man. Well, we greatly appreciate those pipe questions in. Be sure to send them in just like Tony did. Mm-hmm. You can email them csr@podastery.com.
Quick fire with the Squire.
Quick fire with the Squire.
Do we have it?
Yeah, man. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Kayak or canoe?
Kayak.
Really?
Yeah, immediately. Yeah, kayak. They're more versatile,
Yeah, that is true.
They are. They're lighter. You can kind of, pick them up and throw them around a little easier. I don't know.
But you can't transport a lot on them. See, with me,
That's right.
I like.
Well, you've got all your little knickknacks that you've got to tote with you.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as I've got room for like 2 beers,
but not on the Okatoma.
Not on the Okatoma.
Not on the Okatoma.
The Ross Barnett Reservoir is different.
Yes, it is. Here's the deal with the kayak on the reservoir, though. They got those gators out there, man.
No, they do. You're right.
Like, I feel like I'm a little. Probably there's no good logical reason for this, but I feel a little bit more protected in the canoe.
That's fair.
I guess you could tip easier. I don't know. I'm more of a canoe.
You're
guy.
more of a canoe guy. That's okay.
I like having the extra space. I get claustrophobic in a kayak.
Yeah.
Although on some of those rapids this past week,
yeah,
I was kind of, we hit them all perfectly, but I saw a couple of the canoes where if you don't hit them right, I mean, the water just pours directly in the boat. You're gone. So you got to be careful with that.
You've sunk all of 8 inches.
Hey, now. We got to do what we can with the Okatoma.
That's right, dude. We're in Mississippi. That's the best of the best, man. That's right.
We did help. All right, so this guy did basically. These two guys that were on a canoe. They went overboard, and their stuff started floating down the river.
Oh no!
And this happened right next to us, and I was like, all right, well, let's go get their stuff. And we were able to rescue their bag and their paddle while they were getting their stuff kind of turned back over.
Yeah.
So we swim back over to them. We're now paddling upriver and everything. This was like good exercise. Really enjoyed it. Got them set up. One of those guys was like. He was the guy that was smoking the knot squire.
Right.
And apparently had been for a while because he was gone.
Dude.
He was having a time. Anyway, so
thanks for bringing my stuff back.
No, not even
bruh.
that. Not even that chill, man. Little. Yeah. Anyway, so we get him back his bag. Then we finish up. They come back. It's like, dude, where's the bags, man? The bags. And they're like, oh, it's right there. And they pointed to the case that we gave him. I looked at my wife. It's like, we were in possession. What if the game warden had gotten us right then?
Right then, exactly. You literally were in possession.
We were just trying to help. Anyway, fly fishing or rod and reel? I know you're not a big fisherman.
I'm not a big fisherman. The only kind of fishing I've ever done is rod and reel, but I think if I had to pick one, I'd pick fly fishing.
Fly fishing is so much more fun.
Yeah.
Rod and reel is good for just relaxation, but if you're going to be out there for a while, fly fishing is much more interactive.
It's engaging. Yeah.
I haven't caught anything that way, but I think I'd probably go that route. Live or fake bait?
I guess I'd go with live bait.
Yeah, you get better. You definitely get better luck.
It's better. Yeah. I mean, you're more prone to, I guess, get something.
It depends on the practicality of it. Like when we were fishing this weekend, since we were going to be on active water,
yeah,
I didn't want that to fool around with trying to get a new worm on every time I needed one.
The only thing about it, I can see myself having to reload this thing, and obviously, if I'm fishing at all ever, which hardly ever happens, I'm going to be smoking a pipe, and so I can kind of envision myself trying to keep my pipe lit and tucked away in my mouth, but then also try to deal with this little wriggling thing to get on the get on the hook. So I'd probably have to go with live bait though.
You're not opposed to canoes though, or fishing?
No.
Okay, good. Because good. Because I'm getting a canoe.
Oh yeah, you talked about that.
Yeah,
that's great. Have you kind of located the one you want, or have you already purchased it?
I found one that was as cheap as humanly possible.
Okay.
And it is inbound. It should be here on Thursday.
Dude, that's exciting, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's great.
It's a 3-seater too.
Congrats,
so,
man. That's good.
We got to do it up. Got to train Isley on how to ride the canoe. And then finally, if you're boiling up, would you rather boil up some crabs or some shrimp?
Oh man,
I know.
Is crawfish another answer?
I threw crawfish out specifically because it was too easy.
Okay. I guess I'd have to go with shrimp.
Got to go shrimp.
Yeah, I think in this part of the world you'd have to go with shrimp. I do love crabs.
Crab is a lot of fun, especially if you've ever boiled crab before.
Yeah.
That's just a really interesting process, especially boiling live crab.
Yeah.
Not the most humane thing in the world, but kind of fun.
But delicious.
Very, very tasty. No, shrimp. You get more bang for your buck.
I think so.
Which is true of even just shrimp and crawfish. I love going to a crawfish boil, but I will definitely not turn down a shrimp boil because you
man,
way more food for your work.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, man. That's quick fire questions this week. If you've got some questions you want to send in to us, send them our way. CSR@podastery.com.
Your thoughts, your comments, listener feedback.
Listener feedback this week comes to us from iTunes. JD, you want to give us that first one?
Yeah, this is great. This is Tony C318 on iTunes, and he says, Pipe podcast with pastors in mind. I'm getting back into smoking a pipe after a 10-year break. This podcast has really helped me relearn some of the old things well. old things as well as new things. I appreciate how lighthearted the hosts are. I also appreciate their love for the Lord. It's nice to have fellow Christians help break stereotypes in regards to tobacco. Boy, we need more of that. Smoking a pipe is not a sin, and many of us that partake in smoking often draw closer to God in those moments. I feel like the church is at a beginning of a slow down movement. Boy, that's nice, isn't it? I think everyone needs to slow down, not just church. Yeah, not just believers. We've been too busy for too long. Pipe smoking only helps in the endeavor to slow down our lives. Thank you for inspiring me to slow down and enjoy the quiet moments with my pipe. That's from Tony C318 on iTunes. Real quick, I'd just like to mention too, like he is so dead on, and that's not just for believers, but people of any stripe. Like, our world is moving so fast. It's so incredibly quick how things are moving. And we've talked about this just, at infinity on the show, but how much the pipe helps us slow down. I was reading something by this guy named Thomas Merton, who, if you're a reader or, like any kind of 20th century Christian thought, Thomas Merton was a Catholic monk who passed away, I think, in the early to mid-60s maybe, but he was talking about the incredible amount of distraction and busyness in life in the 60s. Like, could you imagine what he would do with Twitter? Like, I feel like he'd just tear his burlap sack shirt, and scream, because it's just, it's just too much. So, man, Tony C318, thank you so much, brother, for just kind of bringing some more of that to light. That's great.
Imagine what the Bo and JD of 100 years would say about us. You know what I mean? Like 100 years in the future.
Yeah.
Crazy. We also got another great iTunes review in from Trail Boss. It says, a truly great podcast. I've been listening to Country Squire podcast for over a year, and it has been very beneficial to my venture into pipe smoking world. The podcasts are instructive, entertaining, and the content always seems to be timely as I journey down Tobacco Road. JD and Bo's folksy conversation really sets the stage for a discussion that is pleasing to listen to and one that can be trusted to never make one cringe when tender ears are in the car. And the content is enjoyable even to my non-piping wife. Trail Boss, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. That's great.
Great praise. Yeah, we do try to maintain, and this is true of all of the shows on the Podastery Network, we do very much try to maintain a what we call work safe rating,
right?
Where we try to police ourselves to make sure that no matter who it is, if it's your toddler or your boss, no matter who's around, you can feel safe and confident that you can listen to the show without anything that'll make you feel uncomfortable. But yeah, great stuff. Of course, if you'd like to send in some feedback, we always love getting those iTunes reviews, especially. Head on over to iTunes, look us up. Even if you don't necessarily listen to us through iTunes, it's a great way to help support the show. Also, got other ways to interact with us. Of course, we do broadcast live on Mondays, Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. So if you would ever like to join us at countrysquireradio.com, we would love to have you involved. Of course, you can engage with us during the show through Twitter by following us at Squire Radio. You can follow us as well. I'm at The Real Bo York.
I'm at John David Cole, and you can get us at the shop at _Country Squire.
Of course, all this information and more can be found at countrysquireradio.com. Well, man, like I said, this was almost the episode that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And
I feel lucky that we just got one in the books.
I'm telling you,
but we did literally because of our friends.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This it'll be a fun one to try to edit.
Yeah,
I'm extremely intimidated to get into this software that I've never used before, and I just need to make sure that I back up, triple back up, and quadruple back up.
Right.
Everything to make sure that I don't lose it. So
that's right. That's
anyway,
right.
I'll figure it out. All right, man. Well, let's go have a night.
I had fun. Thank you, Bo. See you.